Hello, Spreadsheet Applications class, CST 1040 South College. This is week 3, lecture 3. We're going to build on the last lecture when it comes to sorting and filtering and analyzing this data. Let's get warmed up with a couple of sort features. Actually, what I like to start off with is using the freeze panes. I don't think I talked about that in the last one, I'm not sure. Freezing the panes. When you work with a long worksheet, sometimes it's nice to freeze the column headings. As I scroll down my list of houses here, this is a fairly long worksheet, goes down to row 121, all my column headings disappear, don't they? Well, that can be kind of annoying because I see all these yeses and nos and twos and ones. Now I'm not real sure where they go to. So what I'm going to do here is scroll back up to the top, and I'll put my cursor on A as in Allen 7 right there, and I want to freeze everything above the cursor. So rows 1 through 6 will be frozen. And it's real simple. I'll just go to the View tab here on the ribbon and pick Freeze Panes, and then Freeze Panes again. Now when I scroll down, I can scroll down to row 100, row 200, row 300, but row 6 stays put. Row 6 stays put with all my column headings. Same thing if I scroll across here. Let me scroll back up here, and I'll unfreeze the panes by going to Freeze Panes and then Unfreeze Panes. And my worksheet's back to normal now. I scroll down, the headings disappear. I'll go to cell B7, B as in Brian 7, and I'll go to Freeze Panes and pick Freeze Panes again. Now when I scroll down, row 6 stays put, and if I scroll across, all the way across to listing price at the end there, all the way down in column Q, notice my listing, my column A stays put. Very, very cool when you're navigating large worksheets, is using that freeze panes feature. Let me scroll back over here, and I'll turn that off. There's also a lesser known freeze panes and then unfreeze panes, brings it back to normal. There's also a lesser known feature called splitting the screen. Splitting the screen. In fact, there's a little split button right up here in the ribbon. I usually don't do that. I do it the cool way. I'll go over here to A7, and I'll go over here in the upper right hand corner. It's a real subtle button right up here, and you can click and drag down, and that splits your screen, and you can scroll down. It's sort of like having two Excel screens for the same worksheet. You can scroll down that one, you can click up here and scroll down that one. Kind of neat to divide up your worksheet. Okay. Honestly, I haven't really used that a whole lot in the real world. I use the freeze panes a lot more. I think that's a lot more practical. Usually when it comes to splitting the screen, people do it by accident and then don't know how to get rid of it. Okay, then they call me for help. Okay, or they'll call IT department for help or something. And what I'll do is I'll say, okay, just go to that line that divides it right here, and you can just double click it, and that closes it out. That gets rid of it. Okay, let's do some real simple sorting like we did last time. The easiest way to sort your records, if you recall, is to right-click the column and use the sort option on your pop-up menu. I'm going to right-click in the A column, and I'll go to Sort, and I'll pick Sort Smallest to Largest. And that puts all the records in 1, 2, 3 order. If you want to sort it by square footage, I'll right-click, Sort Smallest to Largest. The smallest house comes up first, and then the last house, the most square footage is at the bottom. If you want to reverse it, you can just right-click, Sort Largest to Smallest, and the biggest house comes up to the top. Same thing with the prices here. Let's see. Let me scroll across over here. I can right-click. I want to bring the most expensive house to the top. Right-click, Sort Largest to Smallest, and the most expensive house comes up to the top. Just a little bit more about sorting. Remember now, if you want to sort by multiple columns, we've got to use the Custom Sort dialog box. Like, let's say I want to sort it by house type, then by price. I'll just right-click anywhere in the table and go to Sort and pick Custom Sort. And let's see, sort by house type. Where is it here? There it is, house type. I'll do A to Z. Then I'll click on Add Level. Add Level. And then I'll sort by listing price, or list price. And smallest to largest. There we go. So all the Colonials are first. Then within Colonial, they're sorted smallest to largest by price. Alright, the Colonials start cheap and get more expensive. When the house type changes, they get cheap again because now that's the cheapest condo. And then it gets more expensive as you go down. Alright, just a little brief review there on sorting your records. Real simple stuff. Let's do a basic filter. A client walks in and they want to see a Colonial 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So let's see here. I'll go to my Home tab in the ribbon, and I'll go to my Sort and Filter, and I'll pick Filter. That gives me my little drop-down triangles over here along my column headings. And let's see. I'll do my house type, hit Select All, and then do Colonial, then hit OK. And there's just the Colonial houses now. It pulled up 26 records. Look down here at the bottom of the status bar. It tells you 26 of 115 records found. All right, and then want 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. So I'll go to my bedrooms, 3 bedroom. There we go, 2 bath, and voila! I get about 4 or 5 listings there. 5 listings. Let's say that they even want hardwood floors. Okay, they would prefer to have hardwood floors. So I'll go to hardwood floors and pick yes. There we go, and we have 2 houses that meet their specifications. Okay, meet their specifications. All right. To bring back all the records here, I'll go to Sort and Filter and pick Clear. There we go. Now don't forget, to do a real simple filter, you can also right-click. Like let's say I just want to see the condos on my screen. You can right-click any condominium right there, go to Filter, and go to Filter by Selected Cells Value. That's sort of a little neater way, abbreviated way to get your filtering settings in there. You want 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. 4 bedrooms, okay. 2 baths, you can just right-click the number 2, Filter by Selected Cells Value, and you've got 2 listings that meet that criteria. Okay, I'll bring back all my records, Sort and Filter, and pick Clear. Now we can also do a price range here. Let's say another client walks in and they want to see all the houses that are between 2 numbers, 150,000 to 200,000. No less than 150, no more than 200. So what I would do is go to your drop-down arrow for listing price, number filters, and pick between. And we'll do 150,000, and then 200,000, and hit OK. And that brought up 38 records. Out of 115 houses, 38 records meet that criteria, and there they all are. Okay. Now, after the client sees all the the 38 houses, obviously they're not going to go look at 38 houses today. They'll probably have other criteria. They'd like a finished basement. That's no problem. I'll go to basement and pick finished. They want a level lot. Okay, a level lot. So there we go. Okay. They would like to get a foreclosed house because they think they can get a deal on it. So we'll extract out all the foreclosures. And there's their 5 houses. There's their 5 listings, all within their price range. Always verify it. Is that between 150 and 200? Absolutely. Just because you apply a filter doesn't mean you get the right answers. Always double check. Make sure you get the right answers. Okay? Don't just assume that they're right just because 8 or 9 records popped up. Always double check. Looks good. Okay? I'll go to my Sort and Filter, and I'll pick Clear. Okay? And I'll pick Clear. Now, the next thing I want to show you here is a little bit about printing this worksheet. Okay? About printing this worksheet. Let's see here. Let me scroll across here, and we can turn off the filter at this point. I'll go to my Sort and Filter and pick Filter, and everything is gone. Now, if I were to print the worksheet at this point, it probably wouldn't look too good. Let me go to Print Preview up here on my Quick Access toolbar, and there it is. How many pages is this thing printing on if I were to print it right now? 12 pages. Look at that. 1 of 12. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, I'll go to page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5. Yeah, not real good. You print this out and hand it in to somebody, chances are it's probably not going to, it's going to get kicked back to you. Okay, let's make this thing print nicely. The first thing I would do is probably change this to a print landscape orientation. Real simple. I think we did it in the last lecture, like 3 mouse clicks and it's all done. I'll go to Page Layout, Orientation, and I'll pick Landscape. And boom. That probably helped it a little bit, but I don't think it fixed it all the way. Let's do Print Preview again. And it's landscape now, you can tell, but it's still on 12 pages. Well, okay, we still got to fix it there. All right, I'll hit escape, get back out to my worksheet. We need to squash this thing down. When it comes to a worksheet, you can do what's called scaling, and you can scale it down so it fits on a certain number of pages. All right. Well, the whole thing's not going to fit on one page. That's just not going to happen. It's 126 records. It is going to be a multi page report. Okay. But let's try to get it to at least the columns down to one page. That would greatly improve the look of the printout. If you look up on the Page Layout tab, that's where all your page options are. That's where your margin settings are. You can change your margins. You can obviously do your orientation, which we just did. You can insert your page breaks, set a print area. All right, and there's a scaling setting down here. And I'm going to go to width, and it's set to automatic. I'm going to pick one page. That'll sort of squeeze it from left to right and put all the columns on one page. Now if I do print preview, see that? Now it's only on 2 pages. Okay. Now we did create another problem. Look how small it is. No one's going to be able to read that. Okay, that is just way too small. All right. Well, you let your boss know this, and what he or she will probably say, well, yeah, that is too small. However, I don't really need to see all those columns. Okay, I don't need to see all the columns. I get this report every week, and there's a bunch of columns I don't need to see. And then he or she will mark off what columns aren't really necessary, and we'll just sort of pretend that it's bedrooms all the way across to lakefront. So what I'll do here is I'll go to bedrooms, and I'll highlight all the way across to lakefront. I'll go to my home tab on the ribbon. I'll go to the format button way down here at the end. It says format, and I'll go to hide and unhide, and I'm going to pick hide columns, and then those columns are hidden. Notice now it jumps from E to M. All the ones in the middle are hidden. Now if I print preview, my worksheet looks a lot better. My worksheet looks a lot better. It's on 3 pages, which is fine. I'll click my triangle. There's page 2. There's page 3. All right, looks, and now it's a lot more readable. We do have one other problem, since this is a multiple page document. Notice how the column headings don't go along the top of the page here. Okay, well, we're going to fix that here in a second. Page 2, no column headings. Page 1 has them, obviously, because that's where they're typed in. Okay, but let's go ahead and fix that real quick. And the printout looks a little better. Now, you do have something called headers and footers. Just like Word for Windows, you got headers at the very top, footers at the very bottom. We're not going to do headers and footers here just yet. We're going to do print titles. Print titles is when you want column headings to appear at the top of every page. Like I want all the row 6, right up here, all the row 6 headings to print at the top of every page. That way we have a little a consistent printout for each page. It's real simple. You just go to your Page Layout tab, and there's a button here called Print Titles. I'll click on Print Titles, and there's your Print Titles section, and you've got rows to repeat at top and columns to repeat at left. In the real world, I don't do the columns to repeat at left a whole lot. Most of what I do is rows to repeat at top. So yeah, I want row 6 to print at the top of every page. So I'm going to click my little button down here at the end with a little red arrow. There we go, and my mouse turns into a real thick black arrow here. I'm going to click on cell A6, and that's going to put a scrolling marquee surrounding the entire range. Okay, and notice I got $6 colon $6, and I'll click my button again, and then I'll click OK. Now if I print preview, and there's my headings on page 1, obviously. I'll go to page 2, and there they are. I can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. There's my headings on page 2. Page 3, there's my headings again. I'll zoom back out. Now all my headings are on all 3 pages. Looks outstanding. Okay, looks outstanding. Let me hit escape and get back out. This worksheet's coming along really nicely now. Sometimes you might want to change the margins. Okay, to change your margins, a real simple thing. You can go to your margins button up here, and just go down to the bottom here where it says custom margins, and you can adjust them here. Notice the default margins are 1 inch top and bottom, and right inch are 3/4 of an inch. I'll make them 1 inch all the way around. I would just probably click inside here, type in a number 1. There we go. Click over here, type in a number 1, and hit OK. And that changes my page margins. Margins isn't so much a big deal in Excel as it is obviously in Word for Windows, but that's where you go to set them. Okay, that's where you go to set your margins. You can also center your worksheet. Notice now, in the page setup group, there's a little teeny tiny button right here that you can click. That brings up your page setup dialog box, and there's your margins tab. You can click on it, and there's your margin section. There's your center on page, horizontally or vertically, that you can click on to center it horizontally and vertically. Okay, we'll leave it as is. We'll do that for the next lecture about centering it vertically and horizontally on the page. In the real world, most of the time it's going to be centered horizontally. Okay, we'll hit OK right there, and we'll leave that setting alone for right now. You can also set it so the grid lines and headings print on your screen. On your printout, look up here. You got grid lines, and then hit print. And if I print preview, all my grid lines print. Okay. I'll hit escape here. You can print your headings if you want to. The headings, if I go to print preview, notice, are the column letters and row numbers. That's kind of cool for the exercises that I do for my in-class spreadsheet class. Is when I give them their exercises, they see the frame up here. That way they know what cells to type in all the data. Let me hit escape there. I don't actually want to print that. I just wanted to show you to you real quick. But I'll turn off the grid lines and turn off the headings, and I don't want to print them. Okay, and our worksheet's looking pretty good. Now you can also do headers and footers. Okay, let's put page numbering at the bottom center of the page. This is a 3-page report, right? Let's do page numbering at the bottom there. So what I can do here, okay, what I can do is I think I go to the Insert tab here, and the Insert tab on the ribbon, and way down towards the end is my header and footer. My header and footer. I'm going to click on my header and footer, and this takes me to a different view of the worksheet. It takes me to a page, to page view where I see my actual page, and there's my header section right there. And I'm going to scroll down. Okay, it's actually called Page Layout View, and I'll scroll down here, click to add footer, and I'll click right there. And now notice my ribbon drastically changes with all kinds of footer or header and footer stuff. Okay, I'll click page number right there, and notice it puts a code in there, and page, and page. And what I'll do is I'll click at the beginning, and rather than 1, 2, 3, I want it to say page 1, page 2, page 3. So I'll just type in the word page right here, and then hit the space, and now it'll say page 1, page 2, page 3, and I'll click up here. And to get back to the main worksheet, notice it says page 1 down there. I'll go to View, and I'll pick Normal. Normal view is where you spend most of your time. There we go. And now I'll print preview it, and now we're looking good. There's my page numbering down there. Whoops, if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see. There we go, page 1 right down there. And then page 2 and page 3. Now we have our footer. Okay, now we have our footer in there. Looks pretty good. Okay, looks pretty good. Headers and footers are kind of just, sort of generic when it comes to spreadsheets. I know they're a big deal in word processing. Okay, yeah, headers and footers are a very, very big deal in word processing, but little bit second fiddle on Excel spreadsheets. I think as long as you know how to do some basic page numbering, maybe a couple labels here and there, you should be good to go with Excel spreadsheets. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is some subtotals. Okay. Let's see what our worksheet looks like right now. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, the worksheet looks fantastic. I'll go to page 2. I'll go to page 3. And this is looking good. This is really looking good. In fact, your boss is so impressed, he or she says, it would be nice if we had each house type on its own page with a total and a count of all the listings and all the prices. Okay? Like all the Colonials, and down here at the bottom, add up all the prices and give us a total. And a count, like, $2 million and we have 32 listings. Okay? We can do that real simple. It's like all mouse clicks practically. Let's do some subtotals. Let's do some subtotals real quick. It's a real simple procedure here. It's all mouse clicks pretty much. The first thing I want to do is sort my houses by house type, because that's how I want them to have them grouped. All the Colonials on page 1, all the condos on page 2, all the ranches on page 3, and all the Victorians on page 4, and then totals and a grand total. So now it looks like these are already sorted, but just for good measure, I'll just right click, go to sort, and pick A to Z. Boom. That way I know for a fact that they really are sorted. Alright, looks good. Now here's a tab we haven't used before, I don't think. It's the data tab. Actually, I think we used it for data validation in that one timesheet exercise. But let's go up to the data tab, and way down at the end is subtotal. And I'm going to click on subtotal, and at each change in house type, alright, so every time the house type changes, use the sum function under the listing price, and it's already done for us. So I just pick the house type at each change in, and I'll click OK. And I'll scroll down, and look at that. Row 33, okay? Row 33 has my total. Row 33 has my total, $4.1 million. I'll scroll down here, and I've got my condominium total, 4.746 million. Okay, and I'll keep scrolling down, and there's my grand total, $17,405,000 worth of real estate. We have. Pretty cool. But now I want to have a count. Okay, a count of each house. I'd also like to have a page break. I think I forgot to do the page break. Let me go to subtotal, and I'll do remove all, and that gets all my records out back to normal. Okay, let's try it again, but let's do a page break this time at each section. So this time we'll go to subtotal again, and house type sum, listing price, and I'll put page break between groups. There we go, and I'll click OK. And when I scroll down here, now not only do I have a total, but I got a page break. See that dotted line going across there? That's my page break. And now each house type has its own page. And now I want to do a count. I'll go to subtotal again. And all I really have to do is just two things here. Each change in house type, use function count. Alright, listing price again. And make sure you take away the check mark where it says replace current subtotals. I don't want to replace them, I want to add to it. So I'll take away that check mark so they don't get replaced, and I'll hit OK. It takes a couple seconds, and there we go. Now I have my 26 listings and my total price, and we're looking good. Okay, we're looking good. Alright, totally awesome. And there is your final worksheet. To turn off the subtotals, I'll just go up here to subtotal and click remove all. Takes a couple seconds, and there is my data all back to normal. And this has been a kind of a long lecture. We'll go ahead and stop this lecture here, and the next lecture we'll sort of begin with some more filtering, maybe a couple more subtotal things I want to show you, and we'll continue on then. So lecture 3 here is complete.